When it first hit in the UK, it broke the internet. So how do you feel about that?
I feel great. I mean, Twitter, Instagram, it seemed to go down when we posted our content. So I have to submit a formal apology to all Instagram users. But I'm so pleased. It's been so well received, both critically and socially as well. And I think it's a testament to all the hard work we put in. I have some really phenomenal, talented co-stars in Tony Curran and obviously Julianne Moore, who I think will have a very promising career ahead of her. But I'm just so excited for it to sort of keep, being spread around the world. US audiences getting to see it very soon makes me very excited.
And it tells such a wonderful queer story in history that we don't get to see very often. And I was talking a little bit with the creators, and it's just so wonderful how true it is and that how messy it is that we're all going to get to see all that. So how does that feel for you?
Yeah, I think the Jacobeans don't really get much airtime. So I think life is often stranger than fiction. The fact that this young man accrued so much power, slept with so many notable figures. I mean, there are many people we weren't even able to sort of include in the show because we just didn't have the time. But I'm thrilled. I mean, he's such a multi-dimensional character and just the joy to play.
I have a real quick question for you. If George was to sing a song at Coachella, what song do you think he would perform?
God. That's really difficult. I've already given this song as an answer to another question, so I hate to not give you a fresh scoop, but I Want to Be Adored by the Stone Roses. I feel like it's very George. Yeah.
Your portrayal is so beautiful in this series. I'm so excited for everyone to get to see it. And I love the character. I mean, he's so complex that you play, and he's queer. What was the most fun aspect of his overall character for you to play?
Well, I guess the most fun aspect of it was reading the script, reading the words that I got to, the lovely dialogue that I got to lift off the page. It was DC Moore's incredible story. And the whole collaborative process, actually working with Julianne, working with Nick, Neve Elgar, working with Nicola Walker, the whole incredible cast. It was such a lovely collaborative experience. You always felt everybody was there for each other. There was no divas on set apart from, when the cameras were rolling, and that was obviously King James. But
our favorite diva.
Our favorite diva. Come on. I mean, that hair, what's not to like? No, it was just a whole experience for me. Really, it was a joy. And when you read a story like that and a script like that about a little-known Jacobean king that not many people, some people have heard about, but he's never really been portrayed on television or film before. So I'm really thrilled that I'll get the chance to do that.
I'm so excited for this show to be finally coming here. I know that when it released, it broke Twitter, is what I saw. So how did it feel to have that?
Can I say that Knicks fans are so horny? They are so horny. It's untrue. Men and women, he unleashes something in people that I've never seen the likes of it before. And I've seen most of the prism of the reaction to the show through that epic cloud of horniness, and it's been extraordinary. It's really, really extraordinary.
I mean, the show is definitely delivering on that aspect. It's very messy. Was there any boundaries that you were like, we can't go that far, or were you just going?
Honestly, in a very rare and weird way, no. They never told me to behave, and actually I think they wanted me to be naughtier, so it's been a brilliant journey. But can I just tell you, people at the time called George the Duke of Buckingham. Can I swear on this? King James called his female courtiers his cunts. When the Archbishop of Canterbury first saw George, the real George, he had a wet dream that night about him and wrote in his diary, he visited my bed in my dream and he was most kind to me. This is not a polite brief encounters era, and I think we're running at the reality of what actually happened in this era.
So when you were going through the research and discovering all this, did it just form the story on its own? You were everyone needs to see this?
Yeah. So Mary and George were this extraordinary, bold, ambitious, sort of unapologetic mother and son who got to the center of power. And James was this extraordinarily conflicted. He both took his power seriously as having the divine right of kings, but he also loved men and he would give men too much power over him within those relationships. So you just like, all of that is Greek and rich, and it's also, most importantly to us, it's an untold story. So we were like, the chance to be the first people to tell that story was too good to miss.
Absolutely. And it's telling a lot of queer stories that did happen in history, but that's still not really seen now, in current times. So how did it feel to be doing that? And was there any, backlash at that?
We've some of the critical reaction in the UK has been a little bit like, do we really need to see this? And I think we do, because the lack of one of my favorite things about the period is that King James himself in his court would kiss and fondle young men, right? And so there was one English person who was like, well, if he's doing that in public, he can't be doing anything in private. Like he'd be trying to hide it. You're like, what if he wasn't? And I think as well, he was called the Duke of Buckingham, and there were people singing songs about George, calling him the Duke of Buckingham in taverns in 1600s London. So if they can accept it, maybe you should as well.